I want people to know that they can do it, especially like Black girls and girls in general. Like, you can do anything you put your mind to. But if you see me and I'm doing it, then it makes people feel more comfortable to know that they can. That's why the representation does matter a lot.
You were the first Black female Red Bull player. Can you explain what that means?
What that means for me is it was just another day of me doing what I loved. Being that representation is very important. It's something that I always was taught about growing up. Like, you could do anything you wanted as long as you put in the work. And seeing people who look like you doing those things, it definitely motivated me as a child. So for me to be that representation, something that I've always wanted to see anyway in this space, and then I can be that example for myself and for others, it's exciting. Sometimes a little overwhelming, but I think I'm stepping into it quite well.
It hasn't always been easy, and still really isn't for women in gaming. With it comes a lot of hate and abuse. How have you been able to deal with that? And do you think it's changing?
I've had to curate my own space, my own community, a space where the people respect me, my opinions, and my experiences, and they don't invalidate them. But also, I'm very vocal. When things happen, I bring attention to it. I talk about it in posts on my social media, and I talk about solutions. I also make sure I'm a part of that solution.
Do you think that's one of the reasons we don't see more Black professional female gamers?
When a space is more hostile and it's not welcoming to different walks of life who come in, it makes it hard for the people who come in to fully enjoy it. They don't feel welcomed. It's hard to learn and to grow and evolve in a space if you feel at every turn you're not welcomed or wanted. But I think it's slowly getting better because there are more spaces that are catering towards that, being that safe space.
When did you first realize, wow, I'm good at this, so good, I can make it my career?
It was my final semester of college. It was 2018, and I was still competing, but it was very on and off. School was the main focus. I was asked to play on television for E-League. I had never done anything like that, nothing on that scale. It was exciting. I proved something to myself that I didn't know I could do. I was performing under pressure, like serious pressure, because people were watching too, and it was recorded, and it was on this huge stage. It's nothing I was used to. After the whole thing was said and done, I was like, wow, I did that. And I think that really proved to me, like, if I wanted to do this full time, I definitely could because I had the potential.
In 2021, you were featured on a Twitch billboard. How exciting was that? What did you think when you saw your mug on a huge billboard in Times Square?
I was in disbelief at first, but I was like, I can't believe I've gotten to this point. This is like the biggest milestone ever. So a fighting game player being on a billboard in Times Square, because the fighting game community is so like niche, for us to get those kinds of opportunities are not as often. So to see my face, my brown skin, my hair, it was very curly at the time, but I'm a Black woman representing that on that Twitch billboard, and I was nothing but proud.
Who was an ally for you, Jeannail, as you pursued your career in gaming?
I have so many. Katie, some of the friends that I made when I first started going to local tournaments, but also my manager, Emily from Equinox Gaming. She has been my mentor for many years, 3-4 years, and I couldn't have done this without her. She's definitely an ally of mine as well. I want people to know that they can do it, especially like Black girls and girls in general. Like, you can do anything you put your mind to, but if you see me and I'm doing it, then it makes people feel more comfortable to know that they can. That's why the representation does matter a lot.
Why, in your view, has gaming gotten so incredibly popular?
Well, gaming has so many genres, right? And there's so many stories to be told within each genre. And there's literally a genre for everybody. So say if you're not super competitive or you don't want to see something that's really bloody, maybe you want to play something that's a little more calming. You have games like Animal Crossing, which allows you to be in a town and interact with the people in the town. And you have games like Call of Duty, which they're shooter games. And there are also games like Resident Evil that are horror-based, but there's something for everybody.
And you don't have imposter syndrome when you're gaming?
No, when I'm gaming, especially when I'm in the zone, there's that sweet spot, that zone that gamers, especially competitors, we hit where nothing else matters. We see everything that's coming.
Jeannail, tell me how you got into gaming in the first place.
I started off very young playing games with my father. My dad was such a huge gamer. When my dad would play, I was so interested. The colors, the sounds, the characters, it drew me in. Being able to share that with my dad is what brought me to this career that I have now. And he was like my first real opponent. And so I'm trying to beat him and I just start crying. I'm so upset because I want to win. And he's like, instead of crying, practice. If you want to beat me, learn. Then it really just fueled this competitive drive in me. As long as I can put in the time and the effort, I can be as good as I want to be at anything. I think we bonded over it a lot because it's something we both loved. Exploring the stories together, the characters, having the same reactions, playing a game like that for the first time. I think that's why we're so close even to this day, and we still play games together.
Can you explain what Tekken is?
Tekken is a popular fighting game franchise. It started in the early 90s. There's tons of different fighting styles. There's variety and it's expanded over years and it's actually well loved for one of those reasons.
Tell me about the characters you play with and why you chose them.
The characters I play with are Ling Xiaoyu and Elisa Boskanovich. So I play with them because I love their personalities. I love that at first they look innocent, which gives the perception that maybe they're not as deadly. But it's so wrong because they are some of the most evasive, deadliest characters in the game. You could do anything you wanted. As long as you put in the work and seeing people who look like you doing those things, it definitely motivated me as a child. So for me to be that representation, something that I've always wanted to see anyway in this space, and then I can be that example for myself and for others, it's exciting.